Welcome, everybody, to That Tracks podcast, the podcast where we talk about the Great Lakes and the tracks that are between them. Nick, you are right next to Lake Michigan, because you are in Michigan
I am.
currently, as you can tell by the fire behind us. What did what do the Native Americans call Lake Michigan?
I don't know. You told me before we started recording, but I
No, that
forgot
wasn't
already.
Lake Michigan. That was Lake Superior.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not
So
sure.
Lake Superior was known as Gitchigami, but unfortunately, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote the name as Gitchigumi in the poem The Song of Hiawatha. And Gordon Lightfoot was like, oh, that's what it's called. It's called Gitchigumi. Let's call it Gitchigumi. And so now everybody knows it as Gitchigumi.
That's
Incorrect.
so fascinating.
I know. Have you heard of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald?
I have not.
You know what the Edmund Fitzgerald is?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, it is a shipping vessel that made its way across Lake Superior, but a nor'easter blew early,
Oh no.
and there's lots of different tales about it. There's a lot of different theories about what happened to it because there's different ways that you can wreck in
Do
the
you
Great Lakes.
do you know this just because you know this?
I know this second part that I'm talking about right now because I know it. The
How do
first
you
part
know?
I had just looked up because you were in Lake Michigan.
Yeah. But why do
Um,
you know this?
why wouldn't I
I
know it?
mean I mean
Um,
go on, sorry.
Let me hold on. Say something. I'm going to turn you up just a little bit.
Hello.
Hello.
It's me. I'm coming at you from Michigan.
I don't know if it really helped any, but um, so they're not really sure how the Edmund Fitzgerald sunk, but there's some interesting theories because it was in a lake. A lot of different things can happen. A little bit shallower water when you start getting fetch on top of the water. I'm going to make fetch happen here. And the wind grabs the water and creates gigantic waves, right? So it looks like the ocean.
Yeah.
And if you're in that and you're sailing on a shipping vessel, has different ways that it can bottom out. It can go down a wave and hit the bow into the bottom of the lake and then cause the water. The next wave comes over top of it. It can have the backside go down a wave and then hit the bottom there. It can span the distance between two waves and crack in half in the center.
That's
A lot of
wild.
different things can happen. It could just be between two waves and not have enough support and just sit down on the bottom, and then the next wave just comes over top of it,
Where
and
did you
then you're on
learn
the
this?
bottom because it's interesting. Why
No, no,
wouldn't
but
you
like
look up
no, not
about the
why.
wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald?
But where? Like, where were you just looking this up one day, or
Yeah,
have you ever been to any of the Great Lakes?
no,
Oh, you should do that. I mean, we've talked about this. We talked about it last week. But you've got to come to Michigan. I'm recording currently in my parents' basement, so
yeah,
it's nice.
that.
Lake Michigan comes from the Native Americans called it. I just looked it up.
Ooh,
Michigama.
Michigama.
Uh, yeah, it means large lake or big water, and the name Michigan actually comes from this word, and it refers to both the state and the lake.
Ooh, that's interesting because Gichigami means great sea.
Interesting. So there must be
So
maybe some correlation there. This is
yeah,
from the,
which tribe named this?
I feel like I'm gonna be really bad at pronouncing this. Ojibwe?
Ojibwe. Okay, same Ojibwe. Yeah, same tribe.
Yeah.
So same language. They
Yeah,
said there
that
was,
makes sense.
depending on the dialect, Kichigami or Kichigami with a K.
Yeah, so it says the word Michigama was originally used to describe the entire Great Lakes region by Native Americans and the explorers who followed. So all of the Great Lakes region is known as Michigama
That's interesting.
or
There,
Michigami. Yeah, interesting.
hmm, there you go.
So there's your fun fact for the day.
Fun fact.
I didn't even
Uh,
know that.
as you guys can tell, we are on Zoom because, like Nick said, Nick is in one of the northern states. I keep forgetting which one.
Michigan.
Minnesota,
Michigan. We just
uh,
talked about
Maryland.
it.
Did I already say Minnesota?
Yeah.
He's in Minnesota. He's actually in Fargo, which, by the way, if you want a show to watch, Nick, you won't be able to watch it because you don't like a lot of violence.
Scary things.
It's
Oh,
not scary. It is scary. If you're a
okay.
lady, it's scary because
Oh,
it's the way of the world. but
Oh,
also like I understand that it's just fake. But
okay.
season 5 of Fargo, really good.
I've never watched Fargo, but I have watched Only Murders in the Building, and I'm officially caught up, and I'm so excited about it. Actually, yeah, there's an episode coming this week, and I'm officially caught up. Like I'm going to be watching week to week now. I'm very
Oh,
pumped.
okay.
Yeah,
So you already saw last week.
I did, but I don't. I
The
feel
one
like we
that
should.
it was like a student film, that
Yes,
episode. Okay.
very cool, very
Yeah.
well done, very well done episode for sure. Very interesting.
I had to look up to see how much of that was improv because a lot of people were great improvers in there, and there was an entire scene, a yes and scene. Um, that's a huge improv trope is yes
Yeah.
and none of it is improv,
Wow.
which I thought was interesting because, in case anybody was wondering, Curb Your Enthusiasm entirely improv. The entire show is all improv. They have a premise and they have a story that they're following, but the entire thing is improv.
Interesting. That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah,
No,
sounds cool.
I'm loving Only Murders in the Building. Loving it so much that I've caught up so quickly. I mean, it's only taken me a couple of weeks and bam, there I am. So,
Yeah,
it's such a good show. And I know that you were recommending it to me, so thank you for the recommendation.
I've been saying it.
I'm hooked.
Nick says I'm not going to watch some dumb murder show. I said
I will say,
you're
like,
going to like it.
it's not like, I don't know, it's not as murder-esque, which sounds funny to say because it's all about murder, but it's not like super gory.
Yeah,
And the murder is obviously there, but it's more mystery. And it's done so well, especially because it has Steve Martin and Martin Short. They provide such like strong comic relief to it. It feels more lighthearted, I feel like, than it could or should actually, because the murders are so intense. But
yeah, and
uh,
a lot of other famous people.
oh my gosh, the amount of celebrities that are in this show, it's
Yeah,
wild to me. Every time that they like, sometimes they're cameos, and then other times it's like, how did you cast this person as a regular on this
it's like
show?
Matthew Broderick's just like showing up
Yeah,
occasionally,
as himself, and
and
then
like they
like
can't get rid of Paul Rudd. They're like,
right.
please
Yeah.
leave.
I thought about that too. I was like, why are you back? And then Meryl Streep, like what? How is she
Yeah,
a regular on this show? It is so good. And I love seeing Selena Gomez playing it. I feel like I've grown up with Selena Gomez like on Disney Channel and even Barney. And so it's really cool to see her like honestly like good on her. She is just like crushing it as an actress next to some very iconic actors and actresses. So it's like it's cool to see her hold her weight there, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's like the right way to say it, but like to hold her own. You know what I mean?
you want to hear something that'll make you not make you mad. I don't think it'll make you mad, but could make an actor mad. Steve
What?
Martin auditioned for Saturday Night Live, and then after that audition, he said, "I'm not auditioning for anything ever again," and he hasn't.
Oh my gosh.
He just is like, if they want me to be in it, I'll be in it.
They'll take me. That's
And
so
he said
funny.
that Only Murders is his last thing he's ever going to do.
Really?
Hmm.
I can see that for him. And honestly, like an iconic way to go out. He's doing a great job with
Well, I do. You got to say, a lot of the way that actors retire, like Jim Carrey said he was going to retire. He said, "I am not coming back until a script speaks to me from the heavens
it.
and it is passed down by the hand of God and to him, and he says, I have to be in this movie." And then he was in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, so like they could definitely come back for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's been fun to see Steve Martin, and I'm forgetting his name right now, but it's the actor who's this is a spoiler alert, so if you're avoiding spoilers, maybe skip this part, but he's playing Steve Martin's character in the movie. What is his name?
Oh, Eugene Levy.
Yes. Um, the two of them together is really fun for me, especially as a younger millennial, because the Cheaper by the Dozen movies were some of my favorite movies as a kid. And so to see, because they played against each other in Cheaper by the Dozen too. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, okay. So they play the fathers of these large families, and they're very competitive against one another. And so to see the two of them opposite of each other in this show and just back together, it's really fun for me. I like immediately saw them, and I did the like um what is the meme where Leonardo
Spider-Man?
DiCaprio like no, he like
Oh,
points where he's like
that's
um
from
is
Once
it
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
okay. I was going to say Wolf of
right?
Wall
Or no,
Street.
no, it's from Django Unchained.
Oh, I was going to say Wolf of
Oh
Wall
no,
Street.
it's in Django Unchained is the one where he's like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
That
is
one.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
It's Brad Pitt, isn't it? Or is it
uh,
Leonardo DiCaprio?
I thought it was
They were
Leonardo
both in that
DiCaprio.
movie,
I
and
saw
they
Once Upon a
played.
Time in Hollywood, but I fell asleep.
Yeah, they played the same person. So
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
Brad Pitt was Leonardo DiCaprio's stunt double.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Speaking of stunt doubles, wow,
Oh yeah,
that's all
yeah,
I'll say.
yeah. Saz Pataki. Um,
Anyways, it's such a good show. But yeah, so bear with me, and if the audio doesn't sound what it typically does, I apologize. But yeah, I'm recording from my parents' basement in Michigan. We got up here yesterday, flew up, surprised my mom, although it ended up not being a full surprise. She caught on to it. She's like a detective. Moms, like, they find out everything. It's so unfortunate.
That's probably when you told her, "Keep an eye on my flight. Come and get me at the airport."
No, that's not it. No, we it was a long travel day yesterday. So we flew up yesterday and our flight was delayed 3 hours.
Jeez,
It was not fun.
what airline are you on?
It was Allegiant, which is a smaller airline, and sometimes it's a gamble. But we flew Allegiant, and honestly, for the most part, we have good luck with them. And they fly to South Bend Airport, which is like not far from my parents' house, so that's why we typically do fly there. But um, anyways, we got a notification as we were driving to the airport that we were going to be delayed, and so we kind of took our time getting to the airport. Then we got there, and then we were able to get onto the plane. We all boarded, and then they made an announcement that they had like a slight mechanical issue going on that they needed to fix before we took off, but it shouldn't be a problem. And we sat on that plane for almost an hour and a half, and then they came over the intercom and said that the mechanical issue could not be fixed, and that we were going to have to deplane and then wait for another plane to get there. So overall, it ended up being a 3 hour delay. The mechanical issue, which I'm sure that was going to be your follow up question.
Yeah, I was asking how much speed tape did they use?
No, I guess what happened was the screen that is responsible for their navigation messed up, and so they were needing to fix the screen, but they couldn't fix it, and then they needed a certain part that they were hoping to grab from the airport, but the airport, I guess, didn't have the part, so they were going to have to like wait until they could fix it, which is a pretty like essential component to the airplane. So like
Right.
obviously we were all very much like, yeah, okay, let's get off this plane. My question is, when did it break? Like that plane had just landed and people deplaned that plane before we got on it. So I'm like, that's scary. So
Well, they know how to fly.
yeah.
What plane was it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know or pay attention to those things. I just get on.
You should look at that.
Where would I see that? Like on the outside as I'm
The
getting in?
like the little pamphlet that you open up that says like
Ah, yes, it would be on
here's
there.
where the wings slides are and stuff like that.
Right.
It'll say like here is the information on your Airbus A220.
Do you look at that every time you fly?
Yeah,
Wow,
I always look at what plane I'm on
that's interesting. I never
because
do.
you got to prefer an Airbus.
I
Nobody wants
have.
to fly on a Boeing these days.
I, I honestly can say that I never paid attention to that. Knowing, I mean, it was probably a Boeing.
Hmm? I'm glad you made it.
Yeah. Great. I'm gonna now pay attention to that when we fly
Yeah, you
home,
should.
and I'm
You
gonna be
really
like,
should.
well, this
Boeing
is
has a really terrible track record right now. Whoa,
yeah.
I just got like real deep.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard that about Boeing. I am aware of that at least, because it's a more inexpensive airline.
Was it big?
What
How
do you
many?
mean
What
by
was
that?
it? 3 and 3?
We were in no, yeah, 3 and 3, and we were in the back of the plane, and we were in row 30. So there was probably like 32 rows.
Okay. Could have. Oh, okay. They've only got one Boeing. Oh, they got one Boeing. Okay, 7 Boeing 757s.
Hmm.
So not so good.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably what it was.
No, it's probably this
Oh,
McDonnell Douglas. Or is it either? Let's see here. They've got 89 Airbus 320s. So probably that.
okay. Well, there you
34 Airbus 34s, 6 757s, 73 McDonnell Douglas, MD 8090s.
There you have it. For anybody looking to fly Allegiant,
Yeah,
you, you've got the
more than
rundown.
likely you were on an Airbus, which is
Well,
good.
that's good. That makes
Yeah,
me feel better. Yeah.
if,
I never felt unsafe. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, Allegiant is it? I mean, we fly them a lot because they fly out of three different airports that are like accessible to us in Florida. So there's one in they fly out of Tampa, St. Pete, and I don't mean Tampa International, but this is an airport like in St. Petersburg, which is like closer to the beach. And then they fly out of Sarasota, and then they fly out of Stanford. For
Yep.
us, Sanford is like oof, so far. It's quite the hike for us, but and there's a lot of tolls that we have to pay driving to Sanford. But um, yeah, so we flew out of Sarasota. We made it last night. Surprised my mom. Again, it wasn't a full surprise. So here's the thing: she has. We use Find My Friends, and we share each other's location so
Oh,
that
she
she
was
can.
like stalking you.
No, well, yes, for sure. She checks that regularly just to make sure we're good. And Francie and I knew that she would potentially look at that. So it's a lose lose situation. You either turn it off so that we're not sharing our location with her, which is going to make her suspicious,
Yeah,
or you
and
have
then
it.
you tell her, I don't know what's going on. Must be an
Yeah,
outage.
right. Well, what I should have done, and this is all
I'm in a
hindsight,
big metal building.
I should have turned it off the weekend before as like the hurricane went by so that it was just like, oh yeah, I don't know, this is strange, like things are weird right now. Like I don't understand why
Yeah,
locations aren't working. And
that's
then
a
it would
good
have
call.
yeah, it would have thrown her off for the entire week.
All
But
right,
I
time machine. Let's do it. Let's go back and turn off your Find My Friends.
but it's okay. So she saw yesterday that I guess my dad was also being slightly suspicious, which put her on like because my dad knew that we were coming. That put her on like the hunt, and then she looked at our location and saw that neither Francie or I were sharing it with her currently, and that then she was like, I have a feeling I know what's going on here. So when we finally made it to the house, she also has come down with a cold. She literally yesterday. So when we finally made it to the house, she had just woken up, like sitting on the recliner, and was just like, "What is happening right now?" Very discombobulated because of her cold as well. But anyways, it'll be fun. We had a good time today. We went apple picking this morning.
Heck yeah.
We watched some football, and tonight we're having like we have tons of apples that we're gonna cook and do things with.
What are you gonna cook them? What are you gonna do with them?
I don't
Apple
know yet.
pie?
We might do an apple pie, but we did buy a pre-made apple pie from the farm that we went to.
Oh,
So
okay. From the
yeah,
apples on the farm.
correct. Yes.
Gotcha. Was it
So
frozen? Or was it like,
no, it's already been like made. You just have to heat it up.
okay,
Yeah.
that
It
sounds really
looks
good.
it looks delicious. It's actually a caramel pecan apple pie, which
Oh,
I'm like,
okay. Well, now it doesn't sound good.
oh, you don't like pecans?
No, I like pecans. I don't like caramel.
Oh, that's sad. But this
Yeah.
one looks very tasty, but it
I
does
was
have
gonna
a
tell
lot.
you to throw a piece of cheddar cheese on a nice sharp cheddar cheese with an apple pie.
So good.
Mm.
So good. Yeah, so that was fun. Picked a bunch of apples. The weather is beautiful. And then tomorrow we are just continuing to celebrate my mom's birthday. Because I'm running in the morning to go pick up some apple cider donuts, which I've been very much looking forward to.
From Krispy
Um,
Kreme?
no,
From where?
it's one of the farm stands that's close to them. They
Oh,
they live like there's a lot of farmland around them for
gotcha.
sure.
A lot
Yeah,
of homemade stuff.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
like for certain that they didn't just like go to Costco one day and pick up a bunch of these things?
Yeah, no, this is a very like everything is homemade from this place. It's very good.
Okay. All right.
Um, but fun fact, and this is one of the questions that came through. Someone asked because on our Instagram story today, while we were picking apples, I jumped on and put a question box, and that's what a lot of this episode is going to be. Tim and I answering the questions that you all submitted on Instagram. But someone did ask Nick, what brought you to Florida? I have lived in Florida my entire life. I've never lived outside of the state of Florida. I did not grow up here in Michigan. My parents moved up here my senior year of college, so they went the opposite direction that most people do. Most people like start to make their way down to Florida as they like enter or getting closer to those retirement years. My parents went the opposite direction. My brother, I was a senior in college. My brother was playing college football at a small school up here in Indiana. My sister had graduated high school early and was going to be going to the school that my brother was at, and so they wanted to be able to like go to all of my brother's games and be close to my sister. And they knew that I was going to be graduating and getting married not long after, and so they were like, "See ya,"
Yeah.
and
Have
they moved
fun
up
down
here.
there in the heat.
Yeah, exactly. And they love it up here. They have been up here for over 10 years and love it. My dad is originally from Michigan, so it was kind of like coming home for him. And then my mom has adapted and adjusted really well. So, anyways, yeah, someone did ask what brought you to Florida when I was born.
The orange picking.
I have lived in Florida my
What
entire
brought
life.
your dad to Florida?
Um, I don't know exactly why my grandparents moved down, but they were young. My dad was in like middle school when they
Oh,
moved to Florida. Yeah. I think because my grandfather worked in transportation, like he helped design a lot of the highways in Florida. Um, and so I would imagine because they would have moved down probably in the early 70s, I think. And I imagine that the highways like really started to expand. And honestly, probably Walt Disney World had a lot to do with that. Like
yeah.
when Walt Disney World opened in 71, they realized like the success that it had. And so they probably needed to create place like highways like the interstate like I-4 and stuff like that. So I think my grandfather was like around for the expansion of all of those projects.
Gotcha. Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is fascinating how a lot of things in the state of Florida come back to Walt Disney World. So
Yeah.
it's so wild to think about, like, if that project had never happened, what Orlando would have looked like.
Yeah, it would
Probably
have been
not.
over there in Winter Garden, or not Winter Garden. Where's uh Winter Haven?
Oh
Over
yeah.
there where Legoland is.
Were they looking at Winter Haven?
No, that's
Oh,
Legoland was there before.
right, right,
Like
right.
Cypress Gardens was there before
Yeah,
Disney World
before
was,
Legoland. Yeah, true. That's
and
true.
so it was like first theme park.
That was the tourist area to go to. Yeah,
Well, there were a lot of different places that were trying to be the first theme park. So
yeah, yeah. On this coast, because Disneyland really established that over on the West Coast.
hmm
Yeah, so interesting. Um, but yeah, so it's been fun so far. I'm excited to be here, but I'm not gonna lie, and this was some of the questions that people asked us as well. I am already feeling stressed going back to Florida because
oh,
from
because
the
we got
looks
another
of it,
hurricane coming.
yeah, we have another hurricane on its way. What is the name of it? It starts with an M.
Its
Milton?
name is Milton.
Milton, I believe. And
Yeah.
to be honest, it does not. So we're recording this on Saturday evening. So this is like things will have changed from by the time that you hear this episode. We'll have a much clearer understanding of like how powerful this storm is going to be and where exactly it's going. But as of right now, it is headed straight towards Tampa, and it's now projected to be a Category 3 hurricane, um,
Yep.
which is a major hurricane. And this is where no lie, this is where I start to get very stressed, or not very stressed, but very nervous.
Well,
Very like,
because where you live is closer to Tampa. Like the storm will be
correct.
more intense for you than it will be for me.
Yeah, we don't live far from Tampa. We live probably like 30 miles away from Tampa, maybe. And so, yeah, like if that storm did exactly what it's supposed to do right now, and this is Saturday evening, if that storm goes directly over Tampa and the eye wall goes right over Tampa, it would not take, because these storms are so big, it would not take much for that eye wall to be directly over top of us as well. So
Yeah.
definitely have like a lot to pay attention to. And by the time that we know, like I said, over the next like 24 hours, we'll start to get a more clear picture of like where it's actually going, and how strong it's going to be. But this is where it starts to get to a place where I have to decide, do we stay home for this storm or not? I trust our house. Our house is fairly new. Um, and I think that our house will be fine, but I
I'll
just
tell
never
you
know.
this. Way less stress if you don't stay home. Your house
Correct.
could fall down and you will
Correct.
feel better about it.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
you not say fall down because you would no matter what you'd be better outside of the house if it fell down. But a tree could fall on part of your house and
Yeah.
you would feel better not being there.
Correct.
Because
There
then you
are
would just
not.
get back, the storm's over, you're like, oh, well, tree fell in the house.
Yeah, right. We weren't there to have to deal with that. Yeah. Um, Without going into specifics about what my house actually looks like, because I will never divulge all of that information. But big trees are not something that I have to be super concerned about. There are not a lot of big trees around me, which is good for sure. But um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. A lot of decisions to be made for sure. And then like work is a factor in that as well. Francie's a teacher, so I mean they'll probably close schools down.
Yeah.
But we'll have to make decisions based on that as well. And we're in this area, this window right now, like as we're recording this, where it's like we don't have answers yet, and so there's no sense in getting like panicked about anything because we don't know exactly what anything's going like we don't know what's going to happen. But it is very important to pay attention to what the forecast is saying so that we can make a safe and appropriate decision. So
I can tell you this, no matter what, on Wednesday, there will be a hurricane in the state of Florida.
yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be a category 3.
Right.
So, no matter what, and it will span the entire size of the state of Florida.
Right. Right.
For Helene, I watched his track. I saw what it was doing. I said, I'm not going to worry about this storm at all. Didn't
Right.
do any
Same.
preparation, didn't get anything. For this one, all day tomorrow,
Yeah.
we're taking the kids to swim lessons. Then I'm going to go fill up propane tanks. I'm
Yeah.
going to go get some food. I'm going to go get some water. I'm going to start taking things in from outside. Just
Yeah.
getting ready because this storm is hitting us.
Right. Well, and that's true, absolutely, especially even though we will be closer to where this thing could potentially come on shore, Orlando will absolutely be affected by this storm as well.
Yeah.
We're not that far away from each other. And so, will it be weaker? If it does what it's saying it's going to do right now, will it be weaker by the time that it gets to Orlando, Walt Disney World, Universal? Yes. But that does not mean that those areas will not be affected. There will be a ton of rain and some potentially very strong winds that will last until it gets to that point. Florida is not a wide state. And if you pay attention to what happened with Helene, a lot of the problems with Helene were the rainfall and the flooding. Obviously, that's what we've seen, and it's tragic and horrific, and it's so sad to see and think about. Um, but those winds, they stay intact for quite some time when these things like make it to landfall. And
Mm-hmm.
because Florida's not very big, it's projected to continue to be a Category 1 hurricane as soon as it gets to the other side of the state of Florida. So it's like
Right.
it comes through sometimes very quickly, sometimes slower, and it does its damage and then it continues on for sure. So if you are planning trips to Walt Disney World or Universal, it's absolutely something to pay attention to. And I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but if there's the opportunity to try to like reschedule and rebook your trip, I would almost potentially do that with this storm because of
Even if you can
how
just bump it back for a week.
right. And I know that's hard for people. Like I know that a lot of people are on fall break and that this is when their fall break
Yeah,
is. So
this
that's
is
when
it.
they've got to do their vacation. And I know that that could potentially be heartbreaking as well to like see your trip get canceled or adjusted. But I'm telling you right now, you would rather not have to deal with it. And so I don't say that like out of a place to like scare anybody, but definitely like it's not going to be a fun trip for you. Like
Well,
things are going to be cool. Go ahead.
yeah, I can tell you this. With this storm, this is not official or anything like that, but I am anticipating both Walt Disney World and Universal closing on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Whether it be all day long or early, I'm not sure.
Right.
But Wednesday, both those places will probably not be open.
Right.
In your resort hotel, you are going to be 100% safe. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about anything like that being there, but you will miss out on a day of your vacation for sure.
Right. Right. And a
I
lot of
wouldn't
people
go out and walk around in this.
no. And a lot of people evacuate to the Disney resorts sometimes
Yeah.
to escape these storms for sure.
Well, they
And it
have
makes
already
sense.
started limiting
Yeah.
new bookings.
They may even close down new bookings because they'll want to stick with who they have at those resorts for sure. Disney does a great job during these storms to make like the magic happen for people. They do a great job of keeping like morale high. But a lot of your time will be spent sitting in your hotel room on Wednesday, and that's not a fun way to vacation for sure. So just
I
something
will
to think
say
about.
this as well. I would prefer to be in one of the ones that has everything enclosed, like contemporary. You
Yeah.
can get from your room to the lobby because
Yes.
sometimes they bring out characters and do entertainment and things like
Right.
that during the storm.
Yeah. Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs, like any of those places that you have like indoor access rather than like Op Century where you're way far away and you can't, it's not like you can walk to the lobby quickly, and you're not going to want to walk to the lobby while a hurricane is coming through. So
Yeah, I
um
wouldn't.
no, for sure. So that's just an idea for sure, something to think about. And I'm sure all of you are already thinking that way, like what do we do now about this trip that we have planned? But um I also feel like too, I don't know, this is just, there's no sense in continuing to, I guess, add more people to the area when something like this is going through as well. Like
Right.
it's there are people that are going to be leaving and fleeing the area, so it doesn't always make sense to travel down to it. But this is none of this is official. Like this is just Nick and Tim giving you our unsolicited advice for sure, and how we would potentially handle the situation. I myself have to make a decision now about whether or not we're going to stay home or we're going to go north for this one, because it's not looping north. It's basically going to go across the state and then head back out into the Atlantic. And so we have decisions to make. You said you're preparing all day tomorrow, that being Sunday. I can't do that because I'm here in Michigan, which is definitely stressing me out more. We fly home late Monday night, and we'll have hours on Tuesday to decide. By then we'll have made a decision of what we're going to do, but then really prepare our home for everything. And it's not a quick up and go for us. We have 3 dogs. We have a house that I'll want to like make sure is in good shape before we do leave. And by good shape, I mean like things brought indoors and all of that kind of stuff. I don't have the potential to go to the grocery store, so that's a little stressful and unnerving to me, because I can't go get items that we potentially need. Thankfully, we keep a lot in stock, kind of just anticipating this year round. We are like always pretty prepared for hurricanes at our house, but we might be just crashing it over at the trackers and eating food with you guys. So
Yeah. I'll bring you food.
once everything
I'll go
goes
to
through,
Arby's and bring you a roast beef sandwich
I
for
appreciate
your
that.
one roast beef sandwich for your entire family,
We'll split it up.
like a cake.
So yeah, we have plenty of people around. We have family that is north that we can go to. Probably not this north in Michigan for sure, but like we've got people around that we can leave if we need to. But definitely a curveball and also just extremely unfortunate. And my heart is also breaking so much for the people that are on the coast of Florida that like had lost everything and are now having to look at this storm being like, what is this going to do? It is
Yeah.
just it's such an uneasy feeling, and it's so different than other natural disasters where tornadoes touch down and they go through and they rip through and they happen so quickly. Earthquakes happen out of nowhere. Hurricanes bring this like long like sense of dread
Yeah.
almost, which
Because you
is
see it coming.
yeah, you
It's
see it
nice that you
coming.
can prepare for it, though.
For sure. And I would rather that than not having like I would rather there be no natural disasters in general. But if I'm going to have to deal with one, I'd rather deal with one that I know that I can prepare for or leave for. I don't love the idea of something just happening in the spur of a moment. But yeah, lots of decisions to be made. And again, we're thinking about everybody. We're thinking about all the people that are on the coast that are facing the storm. Like our hearts are breaking for you, and just everybody across the state of Florida. It's just it's so unsettling, and it creates a lot of anxiety for people. And so, if you are feeling the stress of that, just know that you're not alone in that. There's a whole state of people that are going through what you're going through. And the biggest advice I guess that I could give is just like calm down. And I say that from somebody who struggles with anxiety and hates being told to calm down. But really, like think clearly, think smart, be smart. If you're in an area that's told to evacuate, leave. Like there's no sense in
Yeah.
staying. You are not going there. It is not worth it. There is nothing in your home that is worth you being in. If you're being told to evacuate, that means that things are going to be life threatening for you. There's no sense in putting your life or your family's life at risk. Just get out and go. And if you're not in an evacuation zone, but you're feeling like maybe you do need to leave, then trust your gut. You know, again, like Tim said earlier, take care of your life, your family's life, your pets' lives, and just be safe. So,
Yeah. And I feel really bad too because Anna Maria, we go to Anna Maria often, and for Helene, it was underwater. The
yeah,
island was underwater, 5 to 7 foot storm surge. Been seeing videos coming out of there, and there's like all the sand from the ocean washed across the entire island. All the roads were covered and gone, houses were gone, things like that. And then this one will be bigger.
yeah,
The
yeah.
storm surge will
And
be bigger from this storm.
it's scary because you don't know. We still don't know where it's going to make landfall, or really a clear picture of where it makes landfall. But depending on where it makes landfall, will be dependent on how the storm surge affects those areas. If you're
What?
north of the storm, typically the
Yeah.
storm surge is not as bad because the winds are pushing the waves out the coast of the state. If you're south of the storm, that is where the storm surge, the winds are going to pull water in, and it gets awful. That's why you see like typically storm surge warnings higher, like you'll see like on weather maps like projected storm surge like increase significantly dependent on which direction the winds are pushing water, which is why Helene kind of like went up the coast of Florida, so the entire coast had water just like pushing it. The winds were bringing water into the coast of Florida, the west coast of Florida, the entire way up the coast because it just was far enough away, but close enough to where it was just pushing water onto the coast the entire time. So
Yeah.
that storm was very different in that it was moving north. This storm looks like it's going to be moving east. Yeah, east. So, anyways, I don't want to like spend our entire time talking about hurricanes, but this is very like
Top
real
of mind.
helpful, top of mind and real helpful information, especially for people that is going to be affected by this that live locally, but also if you have trips planned. And if you already are traveling and like you're like, well, we're here, what are we going to do? Don't freak out, don't stress out. Like I said, Disney and Universal will take great care of you, and they will make sure that um, everything is communicated to you really well. They have entire teams that are dedicated to helping people in these situations and scenarios. So I'm going to say that that's like our majority of our news segment for today. Is there
Right.
any other big theme park news that you wanted to cover? I don't have anything specifically. There's again not been anything major unless there has been, and I'm missing it.
Well, I'm starting to see reports that things are starting to close down in Dino Land. The
Oh, really?
yeah, they already drained and took the crocodile away.
Oh no, Luke is going to be so sad.
Yeah. And somebody else just reported that Dino Bites was closed.
Where did they move the crocodile?
Probably back at house.
I hope they have another exhibit for him because that is going to break Luke's heart when I tell him that. He wanted to go say goodbye to him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just for the storm.
Uh, I don't think they would have drained it for the storm. They would have just
They
moved it
needed to clean
back.
it. You never know.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, I feel like they could incorporate him into Latin Americans as well. Though. I don't think they're gonna like get rid of him. He's an icon. So
Yeah.
um, well, that's sad. Yeah, Dino Land, that time is coming for sure. So if you get the opportunity to go, and I think also this week, or yeah, this week or next week, Lightning McQueen Racing Academy officially closes down.
Oh, Lightning McQueen.
I'm kind
Poor
of ready for that
Joe.
to go. So, and then also, I have been seeing a lot of reports, and we've talked about this a little bit about there's a lot of this is all hearsay, and also just this is people paying attention to what permits are being pulled and filed. But it seems like things are moving over at good old Fort Wilderness
Yeah,
Campground.
reflections.
Yeah, there was a resort that was announced. What it was announced in like 20,
I think it was before the pandemic, so probably like 2019.
yeah, 2018, 2019, something like that. They announced a new resort coming, and it was very like nature themed, and it was going to be close to Fort Wilderness. It was going to be on the land where the old water park was, correct?
Yeah, river country.
River country. And so, but then that project just stopped. And so we thought it was done. Like we
Yeah,
didn't
it's
think,
just been a pile of dirt for years now.
right. But they've been filing permits to like bring cranes back into the area,
Yeah,
um, which
something's
makes,
happening.
yeah, makes people think that like there are things happening with that space. So that'll be interesting to see for sure. Um, yeah, as far as other theme park news go, I feel the shift taking place, and I know it's funny because we just got into the month of October, but I feel the shift taking place where like in the theme park world, Halloween has like it's coming to an end,
Yeah.
and the holidays are upon us. Like,
Well, stuff has started going on. HHN merchandise has started going on sale.
oh
So you
wow,
know that they're preparing for the end of the season.
yeah.
And I did want to mention in Publix the other day, got some elf cookies
There you
available.
go. There you
So they've
go.
already started selling Christmas
It's
themed sweets.
it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I'm excited about. The holidays is my favorite time of the year. So I'm ready for it. But I am excited to fully enjoy everything that is Halloween before then. We have some fun things coming up as a family. We have not been out to Legoland for Brick or Treat yet, so we're hoping to get out there soon. We're going to go check out some of the Halloween celebrations taking place at Busch Gardens, Tampa as well. So,
I'm supposed to go to Gatorland on Wednesday.
oh, well, that's probably not going to
Yeah,
happen.
I think so.
So these activities that we're doing are not for a couple of weeks, so hopefully they can still happen. But um, I posted a reel. We got our costumes. Disney Store sent us costumes for Halloween. And so I posted a reel of those, and they are fantastic. Ethan is a like skeleton Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Francie is disgust from Inside Out. I am Stitch. It's a Stitch onesie, and it is very comfortable. And then Luke is just hilarious. He's Rex from Toy Story, and it is fantastic. So
Yeah. It's one of those like inflatable costumes, right?
yeah, exactly. He kind of looks like Reptar from Rugrats. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So wait,
so
did you guys pick out the costumes or
yeah, so
Disney was just like, here's these, this is who you are?
Disney sent us a catalog and then let us choose from that catalog. So
It's nice.
yeah, it was fun. And Luke immediately gravitated towards the dinosaur because why? What else would Luke do? You know?
Right?
So,
Loves
but yeah,
dinosaurs.
so I'm looking forward to eventually seeing what you guys end up as for Halloween. I know that will be revealed at a later date, but I'm looking
Yeah, we've
forward to
got them.
it.
Mine's sitting right there.
Yeah. We have some exciting things coming up in the future as well, especially as we get closer to the holiday season. So stay tuned for all of that. Um, but yeah, so
Exciting things.
I think we'll just jump into some of these questions, unless there's something else that you wanted to cover. Also, Hi Dad Soup.
Yeah, I didn't think about high dad soup. Let's
I
do the
didn't either.
questions first.
I didn't think about it either. It's been a little hectic and chaotic, but
Yeah.
we'll go. Let's just jump into the questions. We'll save Hi Dad Soup for next week when hopefully we're together. We'll see.
Yeah.
Next
Do you
week.
want to record on Wednesday?
No, I do not. Yeah, bear with us, guys, because next week could get interesting as well with this storm. But we'll jump into these questions and then we will go from there. So, all right. If you could bring a ride from another Disney park to Florida, what would you bring and to what park?
Oh, I mean, it would have to be some of the rides that are in Shanghai, like the
Yeah,
newest things, like
me too.
Pirates Out There or something.
I literally was going to say Pirates from Shanghai. I would replace with our Pirates at Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
And
right. Well,
then one, Journey to the Center of the Earth. I haven't ridden it yet.
I've never
It's
been
like
to,
um like dinosaur style
yeah.
ride. So I would do that, replace dinosaur with that.
You
But
would not,
I didn't ride that because it was down for refurbishment when we went.
but we're about to replace Dinosaur.
Yeah, with another ride, with an indie ride. But
Indie
like
ride. Yeah,
everybody says that this is the greatest ride ever.
true.
Or Mystic Manor. I'd like to ride. But these are just things that I'd like to ride.
Yeah, me too, just in general. But I think my choice would be to, because everybody raves about Pirates, I would replace it for sure with our
Yeah.
Pirates.
So I got to yawn. Don't pay attention to
So. Okay, rate the Epcot Festival's favorite to least favorite.
Festival of Holidays. Favorite.
Number one. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's my
good.
number two.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Festival of the Arts. Number 2.
Oh, that's my number one.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then the other ones are just like, I guess Flower and Garden number 3, Food and Wine number 4. Food and Wine
Yeah.
is not. It's good because the food is good, but it's like not a real thing. There's
Doesn't
no.
feel like a festival.
It's
Yeah.
just food.
Yeah,
On what?
I wish that we would get like if Food and Wine could get like cooking demonstrations and like more interactive experiences.
Didn't we
It
used to have that?
yeah, and bring it back.
Give
That we
me,
have Communicore Hall. Put it in there.
yeah, instead of in the play pavilion, you even put
Yeah,
it in there. We don't know what's going on over there.
right, exactly. So, um, also, I apologize if there's background noise happening right now, but I can hear my mom running to the stairs.
Oh no, the kids have been like running around over here. So
Okay.
I've been hearing them like because they're getting ready for the bath and stuff like that. They're probably done with the bath at this point, but they're
I
like,
don't know why she chose right now while she knows I'm recording a podcast to run the vacuum, but here we are.
yeah.
Life as a parent. Um, favorite Halloween character of all time. Okay,
Favorite Halloween character of all time?
let's shrink that down to um
There's only
Disney.
one
Let's
Halloween
say Disney
character.
specific Halloween character.
There's only one Halloween character, and that's Sam
Okay.
from Trick or Treat. All of the rest of them are just like people from scary movies or
Right, right.
other.
Labeled as they've been like merged into the Halloween celebrations.
Right.
Yeah.
So wait,
So
you're saying Disney?
yeah, like Disney themed Halloween characters.
Disney. Let me ask you this. You got a Stitch costume for Halloween. This is
Right.
where my mind is going here, right?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
got a Stitch costume for Halloween. Why is Stitch so popular this year?
Stitch is popular every year, I feel like. And they do have a specific merch line for him this year. But I feel like we get with every season a Stitch specific merch line. Like
Right. And nobody else.
no, we get them during the summer. We get them during the holidays. I guarantee we will see Santa Stitch around.
Yeah. But like,
I
I mean, I understand Mickey and things like that. Like there being like a specific line for Mickey,
sure he's
but like
classic,
there's not like a specific Halloween Winnie the Pooh line.
which there should be because their costumes are fantastic.
There's not a
But
specific Halloween Mary Poppins line.
I think it's just because people love Stitch and they wouldn't make that merchandise if people weren't buying it. Like I think that
Right,
there's a
but
lot of people out there that are obsessed with Stitch and they buy the merch.
he doesn't have anything to do with Halloween.
Yeah,
It's just because people like Stitch.
I think so.
That's pretty interesting. Hmm.
I mean, I love Stitch, but it,
People
it
also
does,
like Anna and Elsa.
yeah, it feels extreme sometimes. I get what you're saying.
Hmm. Okay, wait, what was the question? Disney Halloween character Jack,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
would say um, Twitches.
Twitches.
Yeah.
Who's
Uh,
Twitches?
Tia and Tamara Mowry. I think I'm saying their name
Oh,
correctly. They play on a Disney Channel original movie called Twitches. They're my favorite.
teen witches type thing?
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
twin witches?
Twin witches.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but I
right.
think they're teenagers as well.
Teen twin witches. Tween witches.
Exactly.
Tween niches.
What do you love most about what you do? Also, I'm recording this on my phone. I just did get a notification that my battery is dying and I cannot plug it in because I'm plugged in with my headphones. So we're gonna have to like wrap this up
Oh
soon.
my gosh. What do I like most about what I do?
Yeah.
Like actually, and may sound strange because we always talk about how I'm not Nick. Nick loves talking to people, but I do love meeting people.
Mhm.
Like if it's in a relaxed situation, I love it.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
best.
I love watching you light up in those moments.
Yeah.
You thrive for sure. It's when
Yeah.
you start pulling out the jokes in those conversations that I'm like, oh, he's feeling himself right now.
Feeling myself. What? Feeling the
You're feeling good.
situation.
Yeah, you're feeling good.
Hmm?
That's what I mean by that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, oh, look at this self-centered guy over here.
No, you automatically jump to that every single time, and you've got to stop.
All right, I'll stop.
No, it's cool to see you like thrive in those moments. Yeah, I would say the same thing, getting to meet so many people. And it's fun because like you know that if they follow us, that they have a passion for the theme park space. So it's like it's not one of those moments where you meet someone and you're like, what the heck do we talk about? Like you can immediately jump into your trip to Disney or Universal or wherever we're getting to meet you at. So
You know what my favorite thing about meeting people is?
what?
The fact that I don't have to explain
Anything about you?
anything. Like, if they're like, oh, how's it going? I can be like, oh yeah, I'm going good. Like I just dropped Jackson off at school, and it's
Yeah,
like
they know.
they
Yeah,
know who
yeah,
Jackson is. It's not like they're
yeah.
like, who? What are you talking about?
It's
Who
not
is
you
this
get to
person?
you eliminate the small talk situation.
Yeah. Or I
Yeah,
could say like Jen, like, oh yeah, me and Jen were hanging out here at
yeah,
Epcot. She's
yeah.
over right over there, type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They're aware. I do
yeah,
have awkward moments where I'm like, my wife Francie, and then someone will look at me and be like, we know who Francie is, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, you do. So
right.
I forget that. I'm like, oh yeah, my kids, Luke and Ethan, and they're like, we're aware. I'm like, okay, you're right.
We
I'm
are
so
aware of these people.
sorry. Yeah. But I do. I just love getting to interact with people. It's my favorite. So, what fall activities or traditions are there to do in Florida?
Bobbing for apples. No. We here's the fun thing about Florida is we have all of the fall except for bobbing for apples because there's no apple orchards in Florida. Apples
Yeah,
don't grow down here.
yeah,
Um, we have all the same fall activities that you would have up north. There's like hay rides. It's just hot. There's
yeah,
pumpkin patches. It's just hot. There's corn
yeah.
mazes. It's just hot. Um, but we have, I don't know, we get like fun stuff too. Like at our corn mazes, we get like cool like corn dogs and stuff. I don't know. Is that the same
Yeah.
thing up north?
No, for sure. I mean, I think the fall activities are expanded up north for sure. Like there's so much more to do because there's a lot more farming. Farming looks different in Florida. It's usually like cattle or orange groves. So it's not, or
Yeah.
strawberry fields. So it's very different. But um, I would say honestly, like fall traditions are things that are centered around the theme park space. Like I think
Yeah.
that like Mickey's Not So Scary, Halloween Horror Nights, those are things that Floridians have that they frequent and they are part of our fall experience. So
You know what I would like for Disney to do is I want for them to adopt the storyteller's characters somewhere because I feel like that's something we don't really get is we get the characters in Halloween costumes, but we don't get them like feeling their fallness, you know?
yeah, I agree.
Feeling the season.
I even think I wish they would find more ways to incorporate that into the regular day experience at the parks as opposed to like celebrating Halloween more so outside of just putting up Mickey pumpkins and not limiting it to just the Halloween party. I know that that sells tickets to the Halloween party, and that's why people go to celebrate Halloween. But I do wish we had a little bit more of a mix because, like at Disneyland, they get I think a cavalcade or it's like a smaller parade at Disneyland. That's not a part of Oogie Boogie Bash, and people still go to Oogie Boogie Bash. Like the
Yeah.
tickets sell out for that. I feel like, and they have a show during the day. I think it's at
Yeah.
DCA. So like there are more Halloween activities to do during the day. We don't have a lot of those at Walt Disney. So I wish we would get more of that.
I'll agree with that.
Um, let's see. Do you recommend trying Jollywood Nights this year? Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm very excited about it. I'll be there with work, and I'm excited to like give it a go, give it a new experience for sure. So
Yeah, I'm excited to go again. We had fun both times we went last year.
right,
Go with an open mind, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Be
yeah.
ready to have fun. Don't be
They've done
critical of everything that you see.
right. They've done a lot of work to like um, try to revamp this thing. So I'm excited to like see what they've been able to do with it. Let's see. What is your favorite Halloween movie?
Favorite Halloween movie? Die Hard. No, you know what I watched the other day? I
What?
watched Sixth Sense. Great movie.
Oh,
Holds
yeah,
up. Really good.
that's cool.
And I know it's not a Halloween movie, but it is spooky.
Yeah, I feel like horror movies are like looped into the Halloween
Yeah.
category.
I feel like you have to answer this one because I
Yeah.
feel like you're going to say like Halloween Town or
um,
The Wizards of Halloween Place.
I wish Harry Potter could be a Halloween movie. Um, I would say we always do watch Hocus Pocus, so
Yeah.
that's up there.
We just listened
Um,
to I Put a Spell on You today by Kids Bop,
oh, I
which was
love
fun.
that. That's awesome. Yeah, probably Hocus Pocus would be up there for me. We also have a tradition, and this is not technically a Halloween movie, but we watch Coco every year on Halloween.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, it
Day of the
celebrates.
Dead.
Dia de los Muertos, which is not a holiday that Cuban people or Colombian people typically celebrate. It's like specific to Mexico. But I mean, people are celebrating that on November 1st as well. So I feel like that's part of our tradition and we love watching it. So,
Yeah, it's a great movie too.
oh my gosh, I love it so much. Um, let's see. Let's do like two more questions.
Okay.
If you, oh, this is a good one for you. If you were to buy DVC, which resort would you want for your home
Alani.
resort? Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't, and probably, I don't know though, because I don't really understand the buying of the home resort thing
I
other
don't
than
fully
like you
understand.
get to book further out. But has
Right.
that been an issue? Like
I don't know. I
if
don't,
if I'm not DVC and I'm going to Alani, I like wait until they announce the sale. And I'm like, oh, 35% off in
right,
December. Let's book it.
right. I
So,
don't, yeah, I don't know. And it probably has to do with the fact that neither of us are DVC members. So maybe this is an issue that DVC members run into, not being able to book
right.
in advance at certain resorts. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Mine would be the Polynesian. I'd probably
I
buy in the new
think
tower.
the home resort thing is more important to somebody that doesn't live in Florida
Right.
because if you are the only time you can come is Christmas, you know,
Yeah.
you want to be able to book that 9 months
Well,
out or whatever it
well
is.
in advance. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas, like, if I'm booking a resort, I'm just like, I'm going to go stay at Grand Floridian in December,
Right. Yeah.
you
That
know?
makes sense. Yeah. Well, I would pick the Poly, the new tower.
Okay.
I love the Polynesian. It's my favorite resort. So,
I might pick Fort
um,
Wilderness too.
yeah, that'd be good. One of the new cabins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, all right. Last question. Where is somewhere you'd like to go that you haven't been to before?
The Grand Canyon. I've
Oh,
been
that's
there
good.
before when I was a baby, but like, I'd like to go back
Let's see it.
now.
It's so wild because like
I thought
I
you were about to
feel
say it's so wide. And I was like, I know. That's what I want to see.
that too. I feel like going there, I couldn't even grasp what I was looking at. Like it was one of those situations where it was so vast that it felt fake to me.
Right.
Like it looked like a painted backdrop. It was so like, am I actually like my eyes were deceiving me, which I feel like is such a good like a good way to mark something that is truly beautiful. It's just like, what am I actually looking at right now? You know? So
Yeah.
um,
What about
yeah,
you?
I would love to go to Fiji. I want to stay in one of those houses that like,
Overwater, like bungalows?
yes,
Yeah.
bucket list.
Saw there was a lot of spiders in Fiji.
No, I wouldn't love that,
Oh,
but those houses seem pretty amazing. I
yeah, it
also
looks
have
cool.
always thought it would be cool to do like go scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere where there's the ocean for
I'd
sure.
like to go to Australia. New Zealand seems fun.
Yes, we could see some of the filming locations of Lord of the Rings.
You know where I want to go to?
Wait,
Bermuda.
oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
My friends went there on a Disney cruise.
Yeah. See, that's what I was trying to book one, but
They sailed from like New York City to Bermuda to
yeah.
Puerto Rico. Yeah,
It's strange because the closest island to New York is Bermuda, so a lot of New Yorkers go there.
yeah, yeah.
It's like a common New York destination.
Right. That's like where they vibe.
Yeah.
It's
You know
which
what's
is
really
wild to think
fun
about. Huh.
about the Bahamas? You can
What?
ride a jet ski to the Bahamas
Yeah, it's
from
wild.
Florida. It's like
Yeah,
60 miles. It's not very far at all.
it's wild.
Take you
And
like 2 hours to get there.
same with Key West and Cuba. Not far.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
more than 60 miles, right?
90, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take a little
but
bit longer on a jet ski.
yeah, yeah.
6 hours on a jet ski.
I don't think I don't think I want to do that. But I'd take a boat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wish that we could answer more questions, but I think my phone's about to die, and I also have to go make potato soup. So
Potato soup.
there's my high dad soup. I'm gonna go make soup for the
Oh,
family.
look
So
at that. That was great. Nice work.
thanks. Tied it all in like a bow.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for tracking with us this week. Thank you for just bearing with us as we This week was a
Oh,
cool.
wait,
Oh,
before you leave,
oh,
I
there
have a
was so much.
recommendation for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy.
What is that?
It's on Disney Plus. You can
Oh,
watch it with the
to watch
kids.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's only 4 episodes.
great.
Great.
We'll do that for
Watch it.
sure.
It's got uh, my new favorite characters of all time in it. There's a droid called Servo. He's a gonk droid.
I knew it would be a
There's
droid.
uh, a Jedi. His name's Jedi Bob. There's
I love that.
Gaten from the kid from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
He's the main character. The You remember the kid that was in Spider-Man that was like the like mean friend from school?
Yes.
He's the other one of the other main characters,
Okay.
and it's got all the other characters in it. It's got every Star Wars fan's dream.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
Every Star Wars fan's dream. The creators were surprised that George Lucas signs off on it
Wow. All right, sweet.
because I'm going to give one little spoiler here.
Oh no, don't do this.
One tiny spoiler.
Okay.
Darth Jar Jar.
Oh, okay. I've seen it. I saw that's they had an image of that show up online.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Here we go.
I'll give a second spoiler. Darth Nubs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Go watch the show. It's great.
I'm gonna download it and watch it on the plane home.
Yeah. You should do it.
All right.
It's quick
Sweet.
and easy to watch. Really
Well,
good. Jedi Bob.
all right, there you have it. That's how we're going to end. That's how you guys can track your way through the next week. But stay with us. We'll get you an episode next week for sure. It'll just be interesting to see how we get there.
Real quick before we leave, anybody that's going through the hurricane, make sure you do your laundry before it hits, and make sure you download some stuff to your iPad or whatever your computer so you can watch it if the power goes out. Charge all your batteries and everything.
Charge all your phones. Yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be thinking about everybody in the state of Florida, and we are continuing to think about all of the people all over the Southeast, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, everybody that was affected by Helene. It's so sad to see the devastation that's taking place up there. So we are thinking and sending positive thoughts to everyone in the state of Florida with this next storm approaching. And yeah, we will be tracking through it together. That is for sure.
Yeah. So thanks for tracking with us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you stole my line.
I know you can say it. It's okay.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, you're not going to say it? Okay.
Oh,
Bye.
thank you for tracking with us.